Blair Rhodes. Started surfing in 1965. I was born and raised in Washington, D.C. I had a paper route, saving money to buy a surfboard of all things, and my route manager's son surfed. So he would go to the racetrack and drop me off and his son off at Manatee Surf Shop in Belmar, New Jersey. I'd rent a board there, surf all day long. He'd come back from the racetrack, pick us up, and drive back to D.C. We would do that twice a week. One of the first times that I ever went surfing, I rented a board from the Heck Company surf store in downtown Washington, D.C. on F Street. And the guy I rented the surfboard from, I swear it was Frank Gunyon. I think he ran the ski surf center in the Heck Company, and that's where he got his foot in the door. And then he came down here and did South Moon Under. I never talked to him about that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it happened, because he was from that area as well. Back in the early 60s, when we came down from DC on the weekends, we would always sleep on the dunes from 94th Street on, and from 94th Street on was a dirt road. I mean, everything north of 33rd Street was North Ocean City, and it was listed as North Ocean City. But you got to 94th Street, and after a rainy weekend, they would have graders come out and grade the dirt road that went from here to Delaware. From far back as I can remember, and my parents can't figure it out either, all I wanted to do was surf. And as a kid, all I did was ride skateboards, you know, did the roller skates on the 2x4s and all that. And all I wanted to do is skateboard and surf. My parents really don't know why and where that started. And I have 9 brothers and sisters, and none of them were involved or thought the same way that I did. So it's not like my older brother surfed or anything else, but that's all I wanted to do, and I got my brother, my youngest brother, Chauncey, involved in it, and that's who the stores are named after. My first full summer in Ocean City was 1968. I was 15 years old. Back when Finnigan and Roberts opened up Enterprise 2, that's at 68, they had a store in Bethesda. Enterprise 2 was right down, there's a Polar Ice, it was next to the OC Ice Company, down on Somerset, between Caroline and Somerset, downtown. Back then, and it was run by Flea McGurk from Salisbury. A lot of people remember him, and Pat Poupart worked there. Bill Thompson hung out there. Back then, there was South Moon Under, had a store on right next to the Minute Market, where the Minute Market is. Steve Bolgiano used to work there. Eastern Surfer was the big one. They were between 14th and 15th Street, and Spider was right around the corner from them. Then Sundancer opened up around early 70s, probably 71 or 72. When the Australian influence started, and a lot of the guys suddenly went from 9 foot to 8 foot, and suddenly it was under 7 feet. And Claude Codgen was involved in that, Con Surfboards was involved in that. Everybody eventually got involved in that, but the V-bottoms are the ones that, you know, were the first popular ones. But it was amazing how you would have boards. At one time, every board in the store would be 9 to 10 feet, and then suddenly you had to accommodate different racks, everything else. Ceiling height didn't matter as much as it used to, because you had boards actually under 8 feet. And then suddenly it became a race very quickly who had the shortest board. And with the V-bottoms, the Midget Fairley V-bottoms, the CC Rider Wedge, which was Claude Codgen's V-bottom. You had the Midget Fairley model. You had Skip Fry had a V-bottom. I have one hanging on the ceiling. It was pretty amazing to watch all in 1 year's time. Boards go down a foot, then 2 feet, and then almost 3 feet in less than 2 years. The most popular size being 9 foot to 9.6. 2 years later, the most popular size was 7.6. Con had 3 models. They had the Blue Morphus, they had the Iron Butterfly, and the Aussie. And one was a rounded tail, one of them was a diamond tail, and the Iron Butterfly was a full-on nose rider, had a real turned-down nose, and it didn't have the big foil. It was much, much flatter, kind of like a shortened Nueva nose rider. In high school, I had a 63 Ford wagon, and back then gas was 20-some cents a gallon. We would go to Hatteras a lot. We would go to Florida for the weekend. And back then it took 20 hours to Jacksonville. Sometimes we would actually follow swells that were coming up the coast. We would go down to Hatteras and follow them up north. Eastern Airlines used to have a deal where for 3 weeks or 3 months you could buy one ticket, and it was $300 or $400 depending on whether you're doing 3 weeks or 3 months. And you could fly everywhere in the Caribbean as long as you didn't backtrack. So we would go to St. Thomas, go to Tortola, over from St. Thomas. We'd go to Barbados and get away from the excursion fares by buying these tickets. And it was pretty cheap. But of course, Eastern Airlines isn't in business anymore, but that's probably one of the reasons why. But myself and a lot of guys, Ron Cassio, Jay Marr from around here, Scott Soot, we would all do these things in the wintertime and go to Barbados or St. Thomas or back and forth. We had friends in St. Thomas, and Barbados always had good surf, and we would go back and forth there. I started going to Kauai in '88, and I've pretty much been going to Kauai every winter ever since. I love it there. I've been surfing for 37 years. I was lucky enough to get in the surfing business when I was a teenager, a young teenager. Surfing has been great to me. I mean, in whatever I've done in life, I got out of the surf shop business briefly, and I was a sales rep for a surfing company for a few years. The people I've met, the other shop owners, the people that come in here, people I haven't seen in years, surfing has just been great to me. It's just, I can't say how lucky I am to be involved in a sport, in a lifestyle where most of the people are, they're just in it for the fun and the freedom of surfing, and I've been able to make a living out of it and be surrounded by those people, and boy, I thank my stars every day. It's been really, really good to me.